welcome to Concert Pipeline. I'm Steve Jones. Today on the program, we have the Jaws of Brooklyn. I had a chance to talk to Gretchen Lemon and Bryan Cohen of the Jaws of Brooklyn about their new album that comes out on May 15th. It's called Unstoppable. We talked about their start music, what music they're into, kind of their start as a band, Gretchen taking over as lead singer and what that did to the band as well, and so much more. We'll get into that in just a moment. Before we do, let's catch up a little bit on where I'm at, what I'm doing. I did take about a 6-week hiatus from the program, in which for between the March and April timeframe, I don't think has ever happened, but but here we are, right? I got other things on my plate. I got other things going on, and it just didn't happen. I'm going to try and get more active with interviews, bring some more bands in, that sort of thing. But life is busy, to be honest. I may still have the Century ride, the 63 miles, 100-kilometer ride that I'm doing with my buddy Joe at the beginning of May. That may still happen. I don't know for sure at this point right now. But if it does happen, it is going to be a beast because we have not practiced more than twice. Our second ride was 15 miles, and it was a little heavy for Joe. I got up to a 20-mile ride myself, so from 20 miles to 63 with hills is going to be quite a challenge. I'm not sure if Joe's available to do it. I may have to fly solo, and I don't know if I want to fly solo at this point yet. But I might do it for myself with or without him. I don't know. We'll see about that. That's in a couple weeks. Also, exciting concert coming up this coming week. Maybe 2 concerts. The Format, one of my favorite bands that I've seen twice already in the past 6 months, is coming to San Francisco. Going to play at the Castro Theater and a show in an unnamed San Francisco park, which will be really enjoyable. I'm going to see that with my buddy Joe and his wife and maybe some other people as well. And I'm taking my son to that show because he's a mild fan of the band. So we got that coming up. More on that a little bit later, but that's pretty exciting. And we just did VacaCon. I took my son to VacaCon, which is a Vacaville, California convention where they have comic book stuff and nerdy things and some celebrities that show up there. We're going to bring a little bit of content from VacaCon a little later in the program after our interview with the Jaws of Brooklyn. So stay tuned for that. So that's kind of what's going on in this neck of the woods. Let's go ahead and let's bring in the Jaws of Brooklyn. Again, I have Bryan and Gretchen of the Jaws of Brooklyn. Their new album is called Unstoppable. It's out May 15th. Recommend checking it out. It's just a lot of fun, and they're a Seattle-based band that we'll talk about kind of their spot in the Seattle music scene and so much more. Before we get into the interview, I do have to say, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice that Bryan's video did not transfer over to the Zoom recording for whatever reason. I'm not sure if it's because his AirPods didn't connect or what happened, but I've never seen that happen. But that's for the YouTube viewers. If you're listening on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or what have you, no mind. So let's hop in. Gretchen and Bryan, welcome in.
Hi, Steve.
Bryan, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you based out of?
I am outside of Sacramento, California.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down south, and we got a little bit of rain here right now ourselves. You're no stranger to that up in Seattle, right? So.
Oh my God. But you know what? It was beautiful yesterday.
Yeah.
Hi, Gretchen.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bryan and Gretchen, for being here today. I appreciate you taking the time and looking forward to our chat. I know we have some exciting stuff to talk about with your new album. I do like to start way back, though, a little bit. So why don't you both tell me, and maybe Bryan, you go first, but tell me about your, what music you were listening to growing up, what was on in your house, your parents, what did they have on in that house when you were growing up?
Yeah. So my dad played piano and guitar, and he grew up in like the 50s and the 60s of Seattle. Now, what it turns out, Steve, is that there was a pretty like cool. I think the way to put it is like dance hall scene, and there were these different dance bands. Like one of them was like the Kingsmen, Paul Revere and the Raiders was a big one, and the Sonics, of course, from the great Sonics from Tacoma, Washington. And so, like my dad grew up listening to a lot of like that kind of music and played a lot of music sort of like at in our house along with Ray Charles, which I have a good story that he told me, which I'll share. And so there was a lot of music on in my house. I don't know what, I was thinking we were working on something last night that had a little bit of like a Carole King vibe. So Tapestry was on in our house. Yeah, and then some of the '80s stalwarts, of course. The Billy Joel and yeah, I think that that Peter Gabriel record got a lot of spins. So yeah, a lot of music growing up.
Yeah, your Ray Charles story. You hinted at a Ray Charles story. What's your story?
So, and I can't get the exact date from my dad, but I think it might have been like late '50s, early '60s. Of course, part of the story is I think that Ray Charles played here or was here at some point. There's a Ray Charles Seattle connection, but okay. So he came back. And he apparently, my dad told me that he played the old, what is now known as the Seattle Arena. And what they would do is it was like, I think it was like, I don't think it was exactly a sock hop because I think this happened in the early '60s, but it might have been. And he said that there were probably 3,000 or 4,000 people at this show with dates, but it wasn't like a rock show like we think of. It's like people came there to dance with their dates, right? And so there were some people in the audience yelling, and this is Ray or Ray Letts, like it's happening, right? My dad was like, young kid, not exactly from the suburbs of Seattle, but like probably has not been to a show quite like this. So some people are heckling, like, play this song, Ray, play this song. And he said, I'm not gonna play anything until you shut up. And my dad said, like the whole room went silent.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Okay, so they got the clue pretty quickly. Then it sounds like yeah.
Yeah, you want Ray to play, like zip it. Stop yelling songs at him. He'll get there.
Right.
It's a good one, right?
That's really good.
Yes. And Gretchen, how about you? Tell me about what was on in your house. What was your foundation like?
Well, my parents were total hippies. So like really total hippies. So we definitely had the Beatles on, but all eras of the Beatles. And let's see, Fleetwood Mac, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, Carole King, Jane. Oh my gosh, no! Why can't I think of her name?
Which one? Wait, who are you?
Trying to think of who it is. I'm just drew blank. I'll get there.
American, English,
American, but I'll get there. Just all the hippie music and all of the and then we like ventured into the '80s, like Bryan said. And I had like my first record player, so they got me things like Olivia Newton-John. I had the Grease soundtrack, obviously. The Go-Go's,
Yeah.
with their shower scene or whatever that cover is, with all the towels on their head. I had John Denver, the Muppets also.
The Muppets, important foundation, yeah.
Yep, the Muppets and the John Denver Christmas album with the Muppets. Yeah. Judy Collins, that's who I was trying to come up.
There we go, we got there, okay.
Let's see, but big time the Beatles, like always the Beatles. And like every Saturday morning I would wake up to my dad like making breakfast and blasting the Beatles. So that was a big part of my life the whole time.
Yeah. I saw Paul McCartney last week. For the first time. It was incredible. And he did a full set and it was just beyond incredible. I'd never seen him live, but getting to see one of the Beatles. He did Wings, he did his own solo stuff, like Brilliant. It was brilliant. Yeah.
I bet it
Steve,
was.
Steve, you got to watch that movie. It's called Man on the Run. It's Paul McCartney, 1970 to 1980. So it's a lot of wings, but it's like,
Hmm.
listen, that dude built it. Like they started playing, like colleges and universities, and then they kind of got themselves into bigger rooms, and they could have gotten bigger, and he kind of like built it, and then that Band on the Run record, there were a couple of hits, but Band on the Run, that had hits with a capital H and sold a bunch.
Oh,
And then they mounted Wings Across America or something like that. And I think, so I was watching this movie and I was like, God, it's like, so they played Maybe Amazed, they played Live and Let Die,
yeah.
Band on the Run, obviously, and Jet. And then, they came through Seattle in the 70s. I don't know if you know this, Gretchen, but they played in either 76 or 77 in the Kingdom, which has now been blown up,
Yeah,
sold out. It's like 40 or 50,000 seats.
Wow.
Crazy. Crazy.
that is crazy.
God.
Yeah,
Wow.
that is crazy.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's so cool. Were there any concerts when you were younger that were like life changing for you that you went to that you were like, hey, I want to get into music. This is what I want to do. Oh, Brian's got one, it sounds like.
My, my first show in the great city of Seattle, Washington was Adam Ant. And at the very end of the show, he jumped into a tank of water. Now, for your viewers, the question might be, Adam Ant, he's wearing leather pants. How did he get the leather pants off to
Are they
dry?
coming to arrest you, by the way, or what is going on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Maybe they're trying to find Adam Ant's pants.
like they're getting closer. It sounds like they were in your room. Sorry. Carry on.
I'm just downtown. But then, in retrospect, I went back and I don't think it was leather. I think it was sort of like it was like a lace-up situation. But after he jumped in the water tank, I was like, I gotta be in a rock band. Give me that water tank. Yeah, it laced up around the sides.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! But it probably wasn't leather. First of all, I looked up that tour. He was out for a long time because it was like that Strip album, whatever. It sold a million copies. Like they played everywhere. So you can't. There's not enough leather pants. You can't jump in a water tank every time and have like another pair of leather pants.
No. No.
Sure you can. If you're adamant, sure you can. Why couldn't
I
you?
mean, if you're out of man, yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah.
couldn't you?
Gretchen,
I
how about
mean,
you? Was anything that kind of made you want to get up on stage?
Yeah, I think just I don't know if it was a concert experience that made me want to get on stage, but just I always loved singing. But the first like memorable concert that I went to is this is hilarious was Tiffany
Yeah,
at
yeah.
also at the Tacoma Dome. So I wore this is my first concert, and I just remember that I have a picture of myself wearing like a red bow with a perm, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Red shirt over a white shirt where you could see both. And then I rolled up the collar so you could see both of the color, red and white. Then I had a white skirt, and then I had red socks with white socks, and then white Keds. And I was awesome. Oops, you're handing me something. Thank you. And then the second concert I went to was Def Leppard.
Oh, okay. There's a swing. Yeah,
There was a
yeah.
Where
swing.
where
I
was
changed
it?
my. Also at the Tacoma Dome, and this probably was like in night. Let's see, maybe 89. I don't know.
Were they in the round?
Yes,
Then it was. It's the one that has "Pour Some Sugar on Me" on it. That it's Hysteria. Yeah,
yes,
they were out for a long. That's another one of those records. They were out forever.
yeah.
They toured forever on that record.
But I think, like for me, the concerts that really got me were when I was in college and I was in smaller venues. Like Sky Cries Mary was one. I saw them several times, and their show was just so interesting because their songs are interesting. You guys know who Sky Cries Mary is?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
in.
familiar with that.
Okay,
But,
it's a Seattle-based band.
okay.
But they would have like a woman like painted in like gold who doing belly dancing on the side of the stage, and I think it was for me that it was like a whole show.
Yeah.
And I started being in bands in college, and so I started being inspired by I think the local things. Yeah. So and then I've seen a lot of concerts, but I think it was probably the local ones that kind of inspired me the most.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, talk to me a little bit about the music scene in Seattle, Tacoma area. Like, how has that grown? How has that changed? What is and your involvement in it as well?
Well, for me, I had an interesting time. Like, I wasn't really in the Seattle music scene. I happened to have babies.
Mhm.
So I kind of just was in music in college, got out
Yeah.
of college, came back to Washington, started having babies. I have two. And I was a stay-at-home mom and I was kind of out of the scene for like a good, well, I was doing music, I just wasn't playing live. And that's actually when I started playing music right after my firstborn was about one. But it was like we weren't playing like venues. We were playing like open mics and then we started playing like house concerts a couple times. And then we played a couple venues. And then I moved to Arizona. So I wasn't in the scene at all till I came back. And then let's see, it's been just in the last probably like right before COVID, probably 2 years before COVID, I started to actually get into the scene again. So
Yeah.
I have a weird experience with it. I wasn't really in it.
Yeah.
I didn't really know anybody. And then once I started to figure out who was in the scene and that I wanted to be more involved in the scene, I used actually Facebook, like LinkedIn for musicians, and I just started friending everyone who was a musician. And now I know a lot of people. That's kind of how I got it, and I was just how I do everything, where it's like I'm coming in now, and you're gonna like me. Hi.
This is me. This is what you get. And what brought you back to Seattle?
Well, my ex-husband actually we moved to Arizona because he worked at Airborne Express, which got bought by DHL, and then we were there for 4 years, and I was like, I hate it here. This is so weird. Like I was wearing jeans in August, and it was like 110. And I was like, I don't no, I don't want to
Yeah.
acclimate to this. This is not my vibe. It doesn't feel authentic. I have a lot of people that I love there, but it wasn't an authentic. There was no music scene that I knew of, um, and so I just kind of petitioned really hard to come back, and he got a job that brought us back here with Microsoft actually. And then yeah, that fell apart, but who cares? Because now I'm doing music.
Yeah,
Steve,
yeah.
if you go one more segment here, this will get you to how I met Gretchen. Just tell, you're right there. Tell the rest of the story.
Oh, okay. So before COVID, this was probably like 2017. I live in Burien, Washington, which is a little bit outside of Seattle. And there was this, I'm going to try to be really quick. There's this page in Burien called Take Back Burien, which sounds like it is. And people started to come in to try to like take over that page and make it more like inclusive of everyone in the community. And
Yeah.
so people would get on there and be ranting, it's like the neighborhood ranting page. And I was like, well, how about instead of ranting, we come up with things we want to do in our community? So one person said, how about a pride event? And I was like, let's do it. So 8 of us in 8 weeks planned an entire first pride event for Bearing, and there was like 2,500 people that showed up. It was
Wow.
awesome. And one of the people that I got a couple bands in there, and actually one of the bands is now became Rub, who we're playing with at our record release in May. But
Nice.
they were in a Prince cover band, and then I met this guy named Marco Collins, who was a radio DJ. He knew Karaoke from Goodness and Hammerbox. I don't know if you know that person, but I started singing with her in a band called Goodness, and I was playing just what was this now 2.5 years ago, Bryan? We were doing a Goodness show. I was singing with them 2.5 years maybe. And at the Crocodile, I know, at the Crocodile, and Bryan was there. And he came up to me. We actually met in the green room, and I was said something like, "I like your glasses," because as you can see, Bryan is always styling. And and
Sure.
he stopped me on the way. I think I was heading out, and he stopped me. What I recall is he stood in front of me and said, "Hold on, how would you like to audition for Jaws of Brooklyn backing vocalist?" Because they were looking for a backing vocalist, and I was like intrigued. I went out and listened, and I heard the music, and I was like, I want to be in this band. I love it because I really love the 60s girl group sound, and I always have,
Yeah.
which I should have mentioned earlier. That was another thing I listened to, but it was like more in college is when I started. And then so I listened to it. I messaged him. I'm like, yes. And then he messaged me back like a week later and said, how would you like to audition for the lead vocalist role? And I said, I would love that. And that's how that happened.
Awesome. And so Bryan, so tell me, so it started as a backup vocalist and moved to lead. Tell me kind of about bringing Gretchen in from your perspective and what the band was looking for dynamically, yeah, as you moved to that next level.
Well, we got started in like 2021, and we had a different lead singer, and we made a record called The Shoals, which is really good.
It's very
So
good.
it's really good, and all of us were super proud of it, and people dug it, and we got some radio play, and we went to South by, and we played the Capitol Hill Block Party. We were starting to get traction, and our singer, once these things get started, it's you play a lot. It's a lot of travel and playing, and it just wasn't her thing. And so she said, "Hey guys, I'm gonna play the block party, and that's gonna be it for me." So once that happened, I think that was 2023. The bass player, drummer, myself, and the keyboard players like, "Hey, we want to find a new lead singer because we kind of have an idea that this is something that people liked." And so we started auditioning folks, and when I saw Gretchen, she sang backups. So they were playing the Croc. I think it was some kind of like a record re-release, for goodness. It's like there were a lot of people at that show. There were like 600-700 people at that show. That was a lot of folks, a lot of old Seattle crew. And the bass player of that band is my guitar teacher. So he was like, "You got to come see us. You got to come see us." Yeah, it's Seattle, so it's all
everything's intertwined. Yeah.
But once Gretchen came into the room and sang, everyone was like, "Well, we're back in business." And Gretchen has this voice that is like Gretchen is super. It can growl. It has a lot of like super high notes, but also like has like the sassiness to it, and it really fit well with the kind of music we were making. And last thing, but not least, Gretchen was like, "Hey, for our second rehearsal, I want to play the whole first album." And we were like,
"Wow."
Yeah. So everyone had to go back and be like, "Nah, how does this go?" But we did make it through.
And so that kind of leads me to kind of my next question and kind of segue in this story of kind of Gretchen coming in. Gretchen, did you play a bunch of shows like with the old music, or did you start kind of working on Crush on You? What was the next point once you got the gig?
Well, it was kind of both. I think we were learning sort of like a current set, but we had, I'm trying to remember. I think, Bryan, you might have to help me, but it was maybe like half and half new songs and half old songs when I first came in that I was learning. I mean, we were learning the new songs and they were still being written, some of them. Most of them had been written. Like, I think maybe just a few were left that needed to be written, and it was just like the lyrics or something, or
I kind of feel like about 3/4 was done, so there was a quarter that we were still kind of working in the room.
Yeah, so I came in and I learned, and I had already learned the old album because I loved it. So I learned that, and then we were working on new songs. So yeah, it was probably like 3/4 new stuff we were working on in the room. But so yeah, it was a very big front loading, but I took on the challenge just because I love the music so much that I was excited, and it seemed pretty easy. Honestly, it was easy to do. Yeah, I don't know. It was awesome. And then our first couple of gigs, we played probably like mostly old songs and a couple new ones. Is that true, Bryan?
Something like that. I mean, I feel I think our first show was July 4th of 2024.
Yeah.
And then we purposely set it up so that we tried to play as many shows as we could, like to get ourselves sort of together. And then, but we must have been playing Lightbringer because we maybe pushed out Lightbringer in the fall of 24.
Yeah, because that was our first one with me. So yeah, we had recorded in May, and then we started pushing out a couple of the new ones. Yeah, that's what I remember. It's a blur.
Yeah. Well, I think we went down to Alabama it was late May, early June.
Yeah. So yeah, it was great.
And so Gretchen, how long did it take you to feel like at home in the band, like it was your band sort of thing?
I mean, I felt welcome right away, and I felt like I fit in right away, and that was, I mean, I didn't let out the true Gretchen for a little while. The Spicy G, I held her in for a good year probably. Now she's fully out.
A year?
Okay, fine.
You didn't hold her in. She came out, whatever that first Bend road trip was, that's where I was like, Spicy G's here.
Oh, the Bend road trip. So yeah, I think,
September. She didn't hold her that long.
Okay, so
Please.
I felt
She
like it
came
took.
out.
I mean, it didn't feel like it took a year to get fully like feeling like I was in it, but it just like I guess I just wanted to release the real me slowly to make sure they could handle it.
Yeah, yeah. You had to kind of ease your way in there, right? So,
Yeah, I can be a little spicy sometimes with love.
of course, of course. And so they didn't did then after you kind of were learning those songs, did you go in and record Crush on You after that, or what was the next step for you?
Yeah, so I joined in. So I think like when we met, it was in February. I think it was February,
Yep.
the show, or maybe end of January. It was like 31st of January. So I came in, we started working in February. We recorded in
May, late
May,
May,
late May, early June.
February, March, April,
And
May.
so it was like writing those songs or learning the songs and then demoing the songs. And then we went and recorded. And that was honestly, that was probably when I finally felt like really, really connected because we spent a week in a house together and then all day recording. So it was like very quick.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so tell me kind of what your first impression was of the sound that they brought or wanted you to bring to the band ultimately.
Oh, I mean, I loved it. As soon as I heard the first album, I was like, I want to sing the songs like this person sang them. Of course, they end up becoming my own anyways, just because that's how it is. But I don't know. I just felt like the next songs were like exactly meshed in with the first album, and it just was exactly what I loved when I heard it the first time. And I think their expectation of me was just to make it my own. Honestly, I didn't feel like there was a lot of like you have to do it exactly this way. It was just like here's what it sounds like, and Gretchify it. And I think like if they didn't like something, they would tell me. But I don't really feel like they ever said that. Does that answer your
No.
Yeah,
question? Did I go off on a tangent?
yeah, no, no, that's good. That's good. And so I mean the new album, right, is Unstoppable. And so tell me kind of about the progress to kind of pulling together this new album. Like what did you go in with? What was your plan for Unstoppable?
Well, the cool
So
thing
we
about
had.
this, yeah,
Oh,
go ahead, Brian.
go
You go.
ahead. Go. No,
Oh,
no, you go. You go.
okay, I'll go and then you go. This is how
You're
we do
killing
interviews
it.
now.
Yeah.
So when we went to record, we recorded both albums at the same time. So for Crush on You and Unstoppable, we recorded was 15 songs.
Hmm.
And so we went in like ready to go. And I think the band went in like maybe a few days before I arrived, and you had already tracked like a good half of the songs, I think. So, I mean, like they were working hard. Came in and I just started laying down vocals and I don't know, it just seemed very easy. The whole thing seemed very easy. Don't you think, Brian?
I thought it was easy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You did a great job. I mean, we kind of already had. I mean, we worked with Ben Tanner, who
Yeah.
was Grammy-winning producer. He's in Alabama Shakes. He's a keyboard player. He did Blind Boys of Alabama. He's done. Let's see who else is in there. It's Maggie Rose is in there. Wait, there's someone else in there. St. Paul and Broken Bones. Like he's a great producer,
Hmm.
and the vibe. He's in a town in Alabama, Florence, Alabama, which is like this, like kind of like a hotbed of music people. His business partner, they have a record label together, Single Lock, is John Paul White from the Civil War, that duo. So like being in that space with him, he knows how to get our sound, and we're not. It's not a super overdubby situation. It's not. You don't want it to be too dense,
Yeah.
to kind of get that retro-y thing. Because our deal is like it's retro but not kitsch.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you recorded it in Florence, Alabama, right? Most of it. So what brought you out to Alabama to make this album?
Oh boy. Well, at the beginning of COVID, but for the first for Jaws 1, we made the decision, the bass player, drummer, and I made this decision to focus the songwriting kind of in this like 60s genre. Like I think one of the songs kind of sounded like a zombie song.
Hmm.
And I think we were like, you know what, like we're gonna pursue this, and then we found our first lead singer, Lindsay, and I think at a fundamental level, and again, this is at that point it was relatively new. It's like there was a lot of momentum and energy in the room with the four of us. Like we started making demos. The demo sounded killer. We had someone play keys on it. We had someone sing backgrounds on it. Actually, it was one of the backup singers from Black Pumas sang backgrounds on it. Yeah, well, she wasn't. Here's the thing: it was COVID. She wasn't working.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah, everybody was at home, right? So yeah.
Right. So I just emailed her, and I was like, "Hey, will you just sing on this? And we'll pay you to do it." And she went in to Adrian Casada. I mean, anyway, so. The demos were really good, and we sent them to a bunch of people. And one of the two people who got back to us was Ben Tanner, and he was like, "Hey, I'll make this record." So and then the lead singer at that time, she said, "Well, what are we going to do now?" And I was like, I don't know. I've never gotten an email back like this. Like, I guess we're going to go to Florence, Alabama. So off we went.
Everyone went out there, and so what did Ben bring to the album? Like, would you say, like, what did he draw out of you that brought to this album?
Part of it was like his studio setup, right? Like it had all of the things in it that helps make that sound that you guys were looking for. Isn't that part of it?
Yeah, yeah, and also like, by the time we got in that studio, I think as a band, we had been in other bands that hadn't worked out. It's a little bit like that. We started to do the thing like, the Seinfeld episode where George Costanza does the exact opposite of what he thinks he should do, and his life completely, he's like, he gets a raise, he has a new girlfriend, his life totally turns around. I mean, after you've been in a couple bands that haven't worked out, it's like, a lot of what we did was the exact opposite. And also a lot of intention. Things in the Jaws of Brooklyn don't happen without like, we are making a decision to do it. Very rarely does anything happen randomly. That doesn't really happen that often.
No, for sure. And do you have plans for a tour to kind of support the album, that sort of thing? Like, what is this the time ahead in the summer, as you get into summer, look like?
Yeah. So we have a bunch of local shows. We're going to play something called Blessings in Disguise Festival in Spokane, Washington, and the headliners of that are like Macklemore and Alan Stone. So that's cool. That's July 11th. Our record release show is in Seattle at the Tractor on May 23rd, which we are diligently working on selling tickets and getting people out for it. And then the cool thing, there's a band from Austin, Texas called Sir Woman. Do you know them? Does that name ring a bell?
Name sounds familiar, but I might be thinking of Sir Chloe actually. But no,
yeah.
I don't know. But go ahead.
So we saw them. We played a show in Seattle called Ballard Seafood Fest, and Sir Woman was playing. They had these two amazing backup singers, Spice and Roy. And so at the very end of that, I said to Gretchen, "Well, what if they were our backup singers?" And Gretchen said, "Well, how's that going to happen?" So we asked him, like, "Hey, will you come out and do?" Will you come out and learn the set and come and do dates? So July 16th through the 21st, we're going to do Northern California and a Southern Central Oregon run. We got all those dates. We're almost done with that, so that's exciting. And then I think we played Boise, Idaho for Treefort Festival, which was fucking awesome.
I've heard so many good things about that festival. That's so cool.
So good. You got to go.
Oh my God. You gotta go. You gotta go. It's so great. So great. They do a great job. Yeah.
It's not as like corporate-y, not any shade on any other festival, but it's so organic feeling and so artistically driven and like I think run that you can tell and it feels that way.
Yeah, we had a great experience there. But I think we're going to go, so we're going to try and do like a Denver, Salt Lake City, Boise run in October. So we got a lot going on.
And you said Northern California. Do you know where you're playing in Northern California? Or
yeah, we're gonna play at Hotel Utah in San Francisco. Yes, we're gonna play Napa, Santa Rosa, Carmel, and then we're going to head up and do like Medford, Ashland. We're going to be visiting some radio stations too. We're going to play Eugene, and then we're going to finish up in Bend. We're I think, and we next time out we'll come out your way. We talked to the folks at what is it, Torch Room? We talked to them. So that's on our list. And then we also applied to that Offbeat Fest in Reno. So if we get in, maybe what we do is we come by SAC and then go out and play Reno. But we saw there's a Sacramento artist. We saw Samantha Henson, who was just great. So we're trying to figure out a way to play with her. So and also Animals in the Attic is also from your neck of the woods. Great band.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And so we have a great summer packed, already to play these songs. And as we close out, just kind of if you can share what was your favorite concert that you've been to as a fan?
Oh my. Let's see.
Oof.
Bryan, you might come up with yours first. I'm trying to think. Oh, okay, I can answer. The one that was like the most memorable to me because I was the biggest fangirl ever was Tori Amos. This was in like 2000 and it was sometimes between 2004 and 2008. I don't remember. When I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, she came to Phoenix and I had always wanted to see her. Like I love her. And she's like the person that I have all the books and all the things. Like I don't have that for anyone else. And that was an incredible concert. So, yeah, that was my
That's
fave.
awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And Bryan, how about you?
It's a really good question. I think I probably have a couple. So like definitely I saw the Prince Purple Rain tour. That was incredible. That was nothing. That was just nothing short
No,
of
it had to have
incredible.
been. It had to have been. Yeah.
It was just incredible. And yeah, they were so good and he's so talented and it was so cool and I don't know, the tickets were like, they said wear purple, which is so cool. And then I'm trying to think because I feel like I saw something recently that was amazing, but I also I went and I've seen Radiohead a couple times when they've come through. Oh, you know what? I'll tell you, you know what? Sorry, Steve. I got to do this.
Here it is. Here it is.
Yeah, I got it. The Alabama Shakes show in Seattle, Washington last summer is probably
Fitting.
one of the most magical shows. Now, it helps that Ben plays keys and Karita and Shanae sing on our record, right? They're the backup singers also sing on our record. Like that helps. But
Yeah.
even standing there knowing some of the participants, I still got lost in how freaking good that band is. And I don't know, Brittany Howard is a treasure. Man, that is something. So that's got to be my number one.
That is awesome, and what a great tie-in, and and everything. It came full circle. I love it. That is so cool, and the album has so much energy to it. Yeah. I hope I get to check you guys out when you come around the area. So I mean, it's very cool, and I'm proud of you for just what you've accomplished and getting out there and doing it. That's so awesome. So. Oh,
Yeah, before we go, like that song, "Lie to Me." It was one of our most favorites, and that's our current single, which we love to play. But if you go a little bit deeper on it, "Up All Night" was one of the first songs that we finished, which to me feels very jazzy, and also I think there's a kind of a groovy, I wouldn't call it a ballad exactly, but "Unstoppable" is that title track is also kind of a cool soul thing. So I really like those. Those are kind of like some of our faves from that record.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like you said, lie to me, Lie to me. Like I did it, Oh, gotcha. And so,
To me.
there we go, hit it. No, it's just a groove to jam to live for sure. So, yeah. Well, Brian and Gretchen, thank you both for taking the time today. I appreciate it, and Much luck as the album comes out and you play shows and selling out that album release show. That pulling for you
Thank you.
for that for sure.
Thanks for having
Thank you,
us.
Steve. We
Yeah.
so appreciate it, man. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
That was my interview with the Jaws of Brooklyn here on Concert Pipeline, and that takes us to the final segment on the program. A little talk about VacaCon. Okay. Usually I have music news here at the end of the program. And this time, not really any music news. The first weekend of Coachella did happen just this weekend. And there were some surprises, there were some thrills. It's not a festival I ever have any interest in going to for numerous reasons. One being it's out in the middle of the desert in Southern California. I'm cool off that. Second, most of the bands have names I can't even pronounce, let alone do I even know them. And it's just not my jam. I'll go to a festival that's closer, Bottle Rock. Bottle Rock Napa Valley is coming up in at the end of May. Also, going to see Foo Fighters there. Going to see Bush there. Going to see Fred Armisen's Ramones cover band there, which is something. Going to see Chevy Metal. So many bands. 3-day festival. It's all sold out. So they don't really need my promotion on it at all. But it's going to be really awesome. I'm only going one day this year instead of the 3 that I did last year, but hoping to bring back some content from Bottle Rock for the program. Also, so that's more my speed. We're Bottle Rock, 45 minutes away in my hometown of Napa, California, rather than driving all the way to Indio to see bands I don't know. But also a couple of the highlights for what's been on at Coachella that I've read about. Sabrina Carpenter, she had a massive set. She also listed the help of several A-list actors, including Will Ferrell, who was recorded like pulling cable because the power went out apparently at Coachella, and he plugged these massive cables back together, lit the stage up, and it kind of introduced Sabrina Carpenter. She also had Susan Sarandon playing an older version of herself, and she drove away in a car straight through kind of through the crowd, in front of the crowd sort of thing at the end of her set. So that's Sabrina Carpenter. That was her massive set on Friday. Jack White was a surprise, like last minute guest, listed a couple of days before, which jacked up the prices of tickets even higher than they already were, thousands of bucks. And Justin Bieber played a random YouTube set where people. There were obviously many Bieber fans excited because he doesn't really play shows anymore. But he came out and he had his laptop and he had YouTube Premium and went through and played videos, his music videos, songs that he'd sung, and he sang to them. So it was like a Justin Bieber karaoke. There was also crowd chatting in the YouTube, and he took requests from that, in which he would, I think, also sing along to the YouTube videos. He brought out a couple guests as well, including the Kid Leroy and a couple of others. But largely sat with his computer, got up and walked around a little bit and sang to his own songs and music videos without like a band or anything for the most part. Really random. A lot of the questions are, why was he paid $10 million to come do Justin Bieber karaoke, really? Which is a fair question. You got to wonder how many tickets are sold to get to the $10 million if that is the price that they paid Justin Bieber. But these are questions of which I have no answers. That's the highlights of the music news right now. So we're going to move on to my VacaCon content. So this is something I've done with my son for several years now since we became residents of Vacaville. And it's a cool little comic book convention. It's not big. It's very small. You can walk it in 30 minutes and cover everything. So you'll probably do more than one lap if you go. But they bring in some BC level celebrities and special guests, and a lot of people get to hawk their Funko Pops and Pokemon cards and do cosplay, like make costumes. There was this guy that had this very impressive 3D printed Buzz Lightyear costume that he built for VacaCon, and lots of other things. My son and I did we took a picture, and there was an AI that physically drew it with a pen. kind of made a cartoon of us in a way that we wanted. That was kind of neat. And then there were panels with each of the celebrity guests, which included DJ Qualls of the New Guy, sorry, different one, New Guy, the movie New Guy, and Road Trip and other movies along those lines. I got to ask him a question. Let's start with that because that was the first panel that we went to. I asked him a question. It was absolutely a dud. Here it is.
Hey DJ, I'm sorry if I missed this. I had to go get my son, but I wanted to ask you about Breaking Bad and your experience on there because that show was amazing and that shot that you were on, it was like a one shot, but you
it was a one shot. You missed 22 minutes.
Oh no! That was awesome. Okay, well, you can give me 2-minute version.
Come to my table and I'll act it out for you with sock puppets.
Yes.
It was we hosed that down.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Your kid matters.
Yep. So I left the room when DJ Qualls told his epic Breaking Bad story. I did not go to his booth to get him to do sock puppets. By the way, I do have a personal, restraint from paying $50 to $60 for a celebrity's autograph and or picture. Each was $50. If you want $50, that's an autograph. If you want a picture, a selfie, that's another $50. Pretty pricey, outside of my price range to pay for a picture with somebody. I get that that's how they make their living, with these conventions. It's just not for me. So I'm very happy for the people that want to do that, but I was not one. The next celebrity guest that they had was Tia Carrere, who is most famous for Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2, as well as for the Lilo and Stitch movies, both the animated and the live action. She's done numerous other projects as well to remain relevant, but it was cool to see her. She's very pretty. She's maintained her figure and beauty over all these years since the Wayne's World movies came out in the late 90s. Mid to late 90s, and it was cool to see her. So I did not ask her a question, but let's play a little bit of Tia Carrere's panel from VacaCon.
Do you just think like that must have been destiny? I was in the right place. I was in the aisle of the store I should have been in.
I thought often about that time. I was in high school. I was 17. I didn't have the grades to get a scholarship. My family didn't have that kind of money that I would have gone to college. And this one chance encounter, I happened to go into that grocery store on that day, at that moment when this couple that had just flown in from Beverly Hills, they're all dressed up in Beverly Hills fancy clothes in Hawaii, and their son was producing a movie, and they said, "Darling, you're gorgeous. Our son is doing a film here. He's producing it. You'd be perfect for the female lead." And that's how I got a show called Aloha Summer. And it was my first movie, and I got my Screen Actors Guild card, my Screen Actors Guild Union card, and continued on from there and made a career of it for the next 42 years till today. And it's amazing how life and serendipity and just a chance encounter can change everything.
And the character, Cassandra Wong, became just pop culture icons who stand to this day.
When we did Wayne's World, no one had any idea what it was going to become. It was the lowest budget film at Paramount that year that made the biggest profit for the studio. I had a little tiny trailer, and we had basically just a couple of takes that we could do for each scene, and we're just going fast. It was less than 30 days or 32 days of principal photography. To put it in sharp contrast, True Lies, we shot over the course of a year, and Wayne's World was done in 32 days. So those 32 days changed all of our lives forever, and it was so unexpected and wonderful and serendipitous, and it really was a like a touchstone for pop culture of the time. And I think there was a lot of brilliant things that were written into the script. Mike Myers and Bonnie and Terry Turner, this husband and wife team, great comedy team. They wrote also Third Rock from the Sun, great. I would love to see them again. I love them dearly. They wrote that scene where it was product placement in the film, where they do product placement for Pepsi, Taste of a New Generation, and I have a headache. Here, take one of these little yellow different. And then eating the pizza. These guys that sell out, I just don't get it here. And he's eating Pizza Hut pizza, right? But that was so brilliant because they ended up doing that in every film and TV show that we watch now. It was really kind of genius, the beginning of branded entertainment. So many shows you see now, they're trying to show a product and the lead's just sitting there like, but subliminally it tells you to go buy a product. And that was kind of genius that they put that in. And there's so many other things like breaking the fourth wall, talking to the camera, and the camera following them. Really, really fresh ideas that you've never seen in film before.
After Tia Carrere was the person I was most interested in seeing at VacaCon. It's Christopher Mintz-Plasse. He is most notable for his role in Superbad, as well as the Kick-Ass 1 and 2 movies, which is pretty cool. I showed Kick-Ass to my son just the other night in preparation of this convention, and Role Models, which I was showing my son this morning. And for me, most interesting, and again, being a music podcast, his role as bassist in the Ben Queller band, which is awesome. I got the chance to interview Chris Mintz-Plasse some years ago when he was in the band Main Man, which opened up for Ben Queller actually, and kind of paved the way for him and his friend Ryan Dean to join Ben Queller's band. And so I've seen them multiple times over the years. I've gotten to meet them several times. I have several pictures with Chris Mintz-Plasse, and so I just couldn't bring myself to pay $60 for it, even though I really respect the dude. And it would have been cool to have a picture with my son and I with him. That would have been fun, but not at that price point. I'll save my money. But he did a panel, and I did get to ask him a question at the panel as well. A lot of people talked to him about his movies and everything. I was more interested in the tour that he just got off of with Ben Queller and the format. They opened for the format. I was hoping to get an interesting, fun story, but here is Chris's response to my question.
Hey, Chris. So I wanted to hear about the Ben Queller tour with the format. I mean, that's such an epic pairing, and it's so great to have the format back after 18 years. Like,
Yeah.
what was that leg of the tour like for you?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, so we just got off the road opening for the Format, which was a band, 2 decades ago. We played, the Ryman Theater in Nashville, which is historic. We got to play the Salt Shed in Chicago, which is like 3,000 cap. It's very surreal for me to play in front of thousands of people. Had never done it before. And the band was just the sweetest ever. And, I feel like we rocked the fuck out. It was a great time.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so not the most riveting answer, but it was cool just to get to say hey to him again and hear just a little bit about this tour. And I'm going to see the format this next week, so hopefully I'll get an interview soon with the band to partner with some of the footage from the format shows that they're doing that I'm going to be going to. But also, Chris was talking. Another question came up about Chris's history in music and how he was a drummer. He mentioned that he was a drummer with his first band, and I called out the name of the band, the Young Rapscallions. And he pointed it back at me. He's like, my number one fan over here. I don't think he expected anybody who didn't know the name of his first band, but here I am. So that was pretty cool. All in all, a fun day with my son too. He enjoyed it. He hung out with me for the panels. We walked around. He got a couple of Lego figures that he likes getting those every year, and we just walked around and enjoyed ourselves. It was a little bit rainy, but so we mostly stayed indoors, but fun time nonetheless. So that is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Also check out Concert Pipeline's YouTube, because once in a while I'll put up some Flashback Friday video from shows from like 20 years ago that I went to before there were iPhones and smartphones that you could record concert footage from, and I have footage, rare footage from concerts that we covered back when I did Concert Pipeline many years ago. So check that out. For all of us here at Concert Pipeline, I'm Steve Jones. We'll catch you next time.